All right, let's talk about the structure and routing basics in Astro. Now, when I started with this, it gave us a bunch of stuff in here, and I just want to remove a lot of it because for now, it'll be distracting. So let's get rid of this right here, and we'll come back to that later. Now, inside the index route here, you'll notice that I actually referenced something here, so let's get rid of that as well, and we'll get rid of all of this. And then I'm just going to do a bang, and then I'll use the control and spacebar to go ahead and use just a doc type here, where inside here, we'll just say like home. All right, so now we've got a basic home route, you can see right here. And what I want to do is talk about this SRC directory and now the public directory, because these are the two things that are going to matter for now. The pages directory inside of SRC is the only thing that's required. And you can see that that's because I need some kind of home route. So this is my index route of my site. Now, anything inside of the SRC directory is what Astro can touch. So Astro looks at this SRC directory when it builds your site. The public directory, on the other hand, Astro will simply take and dump at the root of your site. So let's talk about these kind of one after the other. Since the SRC directory only contains this one required folder, pages, and here only one required route of index, let's talk about this as a whole. You can see how Astro uses page routing. So you can see here I've got an index page, but I could also change this to be like an about page as well. And let's change this to say about just so we can see a difference. And I go to about, you'll see now it says about. So this is just automatically creating a route for us. Now, it doesn't have to be an Astro file. It could actually just be an HTML file like this as well. And you'll see that that works just the same. Or it could actually be a markdown file as well. And you don't need all this. You could just come in here and say like about, and you'll notice over here now it says about as well. So Astro files, HTML files, and markdown files inside of the pages directory are automatically created as routes. Now here I've got these kind of top level routes, but you can also nest them inside of directories if you want to. So let's say I had an about directory and I drag this inside here like this. And first of all, it's going to break because what I need to do is now change this to an index.md or index.astro or index.html. And this folder structure will tell it that it's the index at the about route. So your index route is your home route. Any other route, no matter what you name it, will just be whatever it is. And you can also nest these under folders with index instead. Now there's dynamic routing and a couple other things to pay attention to, but we'll look at those later on in the course. I do want you to notice here that even though this is a markdown file and it doesn't have HTML structure around it, Astro will actually wrap it around it by default. So you see it wraps an HTML tag, a head, a body tag, and simply drops in our H1 right here. Once again, there's a way to escape that behavior, but at this basic point, that's all you need to know, as it will take care of that for you if you don't include it. So that's a little bit about the SRC directory. Let's now think about the public directory. Like I mentioned here, this favicon is at the root of the site. Now, to make sure we can actually see this when I go to it, let's change this to black, and I'll come over here, we'll go to favicon.svg, and there it is right here. In fact, if I go ahead and build, so let's get ahead of ourselves a little bit, we'll do npm run build, and come back over here, it will build a dist folder. Now notice what it's done. I have an index route, I have an about route with an index.html page, and then I also have this favicon just at the root of my site. So anything in the public directory, Astro will not try to minify or touch, it will just take it and dump it at the root of your build. Now the last thing I want to talk about is this astroconfig.mjs file. We're not going to do anything with this right now, but we will as we go forward throughout this module. This is where you can add integrations and other things to kind of customize how Astro works for you. Just know that it's here and we'll come around to it as we need it. We've talked about the structure of an Astro directory. I now want to talk about the structure of an Astro file. You may have noticed at the beginning that this had this kind of like dashed section up here. This is called the front matter. Everything down here is what's output on the client. And that's what we're going to talk about in the next video. I trust you enjoyed that video. I'll remind you that this whole playlist is a sneak peek of Module 1 for my course, LearnAstro.dev. If you're interested in getting that course at a discount, check out the link below. I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Happy coding.